Are you satisfied with your understanding of sustainability? If you are not, imagine a journey together, a pluralistic one, with academia, innovators, startups, NGOs, all looking for solutions to the greatest challenge of our time. My name is Samuele Tini, and this is the Sustainability Journey. Welcome to episode 9. Today we are going to India to meet an entrepreneur that with their startup, Sirohi, is transforming lives of women at the grassroots level. Welcome, Gauri Malik.
Hi Samuel, thank you so much for this lovely, gracious introduction.
Thank you, Gauri. You are an extraordinary leader. You have been recognized by UN Women. You are working with brands. Can you tell us maybe where you are coming from and which is your source of inspiration?
So I'm actually from a small town in India called Muzaffarnagar city, which is known to be the crime capital of India, well, at least back in the day. It's a small town in the state of Uttar Pradesh. And when you talk about inspiration, I think I'll say what my frustration was that led me to being a social entrepreneur and doing what I do. Is essentially when I was growing up, I would always see my mother very financially, emotionally dependent on my father. And this is something that would really, frustrate me. And I've always wanted to do something about it. So I think, being privileged enough to get a good education, some really good work experience, I decided to use my skill sets to sort of convert, what I do and transform my frustration into some sort of inspiration. So yeah, and that's how we work with women from rural communities who have an amazing skill of craft and provide them with support so they can become financially independent and give them design access and market access to make beautiful products.
That's incredible and such an inspiring story. That is where, the purpose is coming from. And that, led to the creation of Sirohi. So can you explain what Sirohi is, what Sirohi does, and how it's empowering and really women at the rural area in India?
Sirohi as a brand is named after a small village in Haryana, the state of Haryana, that we first sort of put on the map in 2000, village with solar light. And so we decided to name our brand after that community because it was the first project I had ever done. So the name and fame of what we do comes from the village itself. So Sirohi as a brand is creating income opportunities for women from low income backgrounds who are subjected to a lot of societal norms where they are made to feel that they're not allowed to work, they lack a formal education. But these are extremely talented, skilled women who have a craft skill and they want to make a difference to their lives, but they just lack an opportunity, unfortunately. So because of that, they're not able to gain financial independence. They're not able to sort of make their own dreams and aspirations come true. So our idea is to use technology to provide these women with basic tech tools to use their existing skills, but make better quality, well-designed products, and then provide them with a platform, which is Sirohi, to sell these products so they can reach a global buyer. So that's what the brand does. The idea is that, we're able to bring the crafts industry online, which has been a big challenge. We've seen it during COVID that a lot of artisans have faced issues because they've lost a lot of their sales revenues because they were so reliant on offline markets, right? But the fact that, we're working with women to bring their products online has helped them sustain themselves and also even support their own families and husbands who have now become unemployed during this crisis.
That is really inspirational and also, show the support you are given and the big network. Can you tell us how many women are working with you with Sirohi?
So we've got 550 plus artisans in the last 1.5 years who are listed with us, who want to work from 3 different villages in Muzaffarnagar. But at any given time, based on the number of orders we're able to generate, we only have 40 to 50% artisans who are usually active and are working. Plus, which also depends on their own personal circumstances or their availability to work. But, from a willingness point of view and the number of women who want to work, it's 550 women who are on our network so far.
That is incredible. I mean, it's already you are gathering pace and impact. We can frame your intervention between the two SDG, the gender and the women empowerment, but also the utilization also of recyclable materials. Can you share more about that? I was reading about your Uniqlo collaboration. How do you put together the two angles?
In India and a lot of, I think, countries globally is that, artisan or traditional craft products are kind of in a way looked down upon because, they might be traditional or, it's just made by an artisan. So they don't get the same, I would say, stature or repute that would be with any other international brand. So we try to ensure that we work very strongly with designers so that each and every product is very well designed so that international buyers, whether it is a small buyer, who just wants to buy something for their home like yourself, or even an international retailer like a Uniqlo, who wants to associate, is interested in the product. So they're really well designed. And that's how we're able to attract such buyers. Uniqlo, for the opening of their store in Gurgaon, they wanted to sort of, they have this initiative with this other organization in India called the Little Black Book, where they have a good neighborhood guide. So as part of that initiative, they look for brands that are creating some sort of an impact, and they collaborate with them to cool initiatives. So as part of that, they wanted us to make 1,000 boxes for the first 1,000 customers that came to their store and give them that product, which was completely made from waste, pre-consumer waste plastic, woven by over 250 women in a matter of 10 days. So those were really like big timelines that we got, small timelines. And we sort of used a lot of waste to make the boxes that were then given to these customers. So that was the initiative with Uniqlo. In terms of the materials that we use, as a brand, we very consciously decided that if we're making these products, why do we use virgin materials? Let's try to use product raw materials from the locale itself. So which essentially means that, we use a lot of ropes to weave our products. So we use a lot of textile waste, plastic waste, which is essentially twined into ropes. And then these ropes are used to weave the products that we make.
It's really inspiring. If I understood properly, you have designed your business model at excellent level. Then you have the women and the artisan that produce, even using, as you said, recycling material, and then you sell to big brands and even customers. Can you explain us the impacts that you have given so far and how, and even stories that how you have transformed the life and how this model has helped women to get out the poverty and get the garner their confidence?
We have three targets segments of women, the kind of, people we work with. One is women who are essentially can only work from their homes. They're subjected to a lot of societal norms that do not promote going outside their homes and working. So, so we're very limited that the women work from their homes. Second is, there's a group of women who are still using traditional crafts and traditional sort of methods to make their products, which are not relevant to the buyer of today. And there's a third segment of people who are making products, but they don't have access to markets to sell their products to, earn a decent income. So these are the kind of three segments we're catering to, which covers pretty much, the women who has a basic craft skill across India. And hopefully we juxtapose this model to women artisans globally. And how we're sort of doing this is that, we have a network of designers, through our partnership with design schools, through online platforms or design communities, where we have a complete format to train these designers to use online tools and videos to train artisans who, essentially have smartphones. There's a very strong penetration of smartphones into India, and to communicate new designs using 3D drawings, 3D models to these artisans, where, we use their existing craft skill, but just layer it with a new level of design to make products, which is then relevant to today's buyer. And this is how, when these products get sold, the women who are listed on the platform based on the products that they've sold essentially are able to, I would say, earn an income, because if the products are pretty, the buyer loves them. And, we generate sales, and then we have buyers like hopefully yourself, people in Africa, like Uniqlo or, bigger organizations who buy from us. And that's how the artisans are making money, because they're not just reliant on, selling their products in an offline market or the local hut or the local artisan fair, but essentially all their products come online through the platform Sirohi.
That's incredible and really interesting. I'm looking forward even to see your products even in Africa and in the world. So let me ask you this question. Which are your buyers? Which is your main market?
We're a very young organization. I think we're just a 1.5-year-old organization where most of our operations happened during lockdown in India, which was for 6 months. Most of our buyers right now essentially entail a lot of small resellers, boutique buyers who love Indian craft. They love the story and they want to take these products and sell them in their own markets. A lot of our buyers essentially come from Europe, America, Australia. So these are the three sort of key geographies we see from an international perspective. But the aim is to, really make Sirohi a global brand for handcrafted artisanal products from India. And I keep saying it that, we want to be the IKEA for sustainability, which is powered by the artisans of India. So hopefully we're able to do that at some point.
That is a real strong purpose and a real bold vision. And I'm really impressed. In developing this vision to become the sustainable IKEA powered by the artisan of India, which are the stigmas, the problem, the cultural barrier that you had to overcome, especially talking about that you are working with women in rural areas?
When we started our work, we're almost, like I said, at 550 women, and the potential of expanding our work to 10,000 women, who are now wanting to work. It's just that we have to generate that demand. And only once I become IKEA can I have like thousands of women working with us, because the demand is going to be there. But I think the stigmas were that we started with actually just one woman because everyone else refused. They were so scared to work because they initially felt that they were not allowed to work. They felt that, if you give us work, the community will object. But these were just a lot of, I think, thoughts and intuitions that were passed down by older generations. But now it's interesting to see that it was like a domino effect from one woman who started working to, having the second neighbor who joined in and the third neighbor. And, now at 550 women, it's been an incredible story. It was a bit of a challenge to start with. I remember going to the village and meeting one woman. Her name is Gauri Fatma. And she said that I would love to work and I want to work, but I will work behind the closed doors of my house. And I still have a photo of her, with a product that we clicked behind the closed doors. So, and now, she's strong, she's bold. She leads an army of, 100 women who are working with her from the same community, and the men are supporting them. So I think, there's been a huge change from a community and societal perspective as well.
Wow, that's such an impactful story. You are really part of a movement to really change even the culture and the perspective. Do you want to share something that you treasure in your art from your experience with Sirohi, which is maybe one story that you want to share with the listeners?
There's so many, but I think the strongest one for me definitely would be that of Gauhar's. She was a woman who had decided and taken a decision that, hey, I'm going to make a difference to my life no matter what the community thinks. And when we started working with her, she was like a shy woman. She was a bit nervous, and she just wanted to work and she wanted to earn money so her kids could go to school. She could buy things for herself. Her husband usually stayed very sick, and she would never look me in the eye and speak with me. She always had a very subdued look and gaze, and she was very conservative. She always had a wrap around her head or covered her head. Out of respect or out of, I'm not sure, just being nervous or shy. But I remember meeting her like 6 months later again, and, she was speaking to me eye to eye with confidence. She didn't have that dupatta. She was just standing tall the way she was. And I could see like this huge change, in the confidence, in her emotions, in the person, the woman that she was, and even negotiating that, I think I should get paid more for these products. And I love that. I love the fact that she could stand up and say that, firstly, just look me in the eye, talk to me and tell me that I deserve more, for my work. And that to me, is, I think, empowerment, and to be able to speak up. And that's what women sometimes also in an urban world sort of fight for, right? To sort of be at par and at the same pay scales as men. So the fact that she was doing it at such a ground level to me was extremely powerful and empowering. And I think that's one of the strongest stories I have to share with you today.
That is incredible and really You are a young startup and you are already transforming lives in rural area. And this example reminds me also of also my personal experiences with women. When you really see people that garner confidence and they are able to stand and they are economically empowered, notwithstanding the difficult cultural situation and really the barriers that are posed against them.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is your next step? Where do you want to take Sirohi?
I want Sirohi to be a global name for artisanal handcrafted products from India. I feel there hasn't been any other. There's so many amazing organizations doing, brilliant impact work. But I feel from a global platform, there's no one been able to take it where every country in the world knows that this product is from India or it was made by this brand. And that's where I want to take Sirohi. I want to take the artisans of India on a global level, just because their work is so beautiful and they're so skilled. And I think they deserve to have, what they do on a global scale. And that's where I want to take it. And that's really my mission and purpose, which is why I keep, like every person, from a home decor perspective knows what IKEA is, right? So if I can say that Sirohi is going to be the name that is synonymous with handcrafted luxe sustainability, then I think I've achieved what I started for.
You want to become the sustainable home decor, taking it to the next level in the world, and having also a strong, proposition to really empower artisan in India. My next question linked to that: do you want also to expand in what's so-called global South, replicating the model in other area and cultures? Because we have the same similarity of for example, I'm talking about the African environment here with the same issues that are faced by women and the poverty at the rural level.
Absolutely. I think if we're able to replicate and scale what we're doing, which is scaled from one village to 10 villages to one district, and now hopefully to other artisan clusters across India, I don't doubt that we can take what we're doing to different parts of the world, where there's a very strong influence of craft and culture, whether it is Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Africa, and get artisans to really make beautiful products, which is inspired by their heritage and culture, but is still relevant to an audience of today. And that's where, we want to take it at. And I think if we can create that cross-cultural sort of, I would say, design or product mix, that would be really beautiful, because then you're offering to the world something which is just of the world, right? And not of one country. And I think that's going to be really powerful.
I'm looking forward to this because that will, I think, will be a real game changer for some communities, especially at the local level. Can you share us, because I've seen you have been recognized by UN Women, you have won prizes in India. Can you share a bit your achievements so far, and which are incredible because you are a very young startup?
I always say that your intentions define your reality. And in some ways, I think we've been true to what we want to do since the very beginning, which is one is empower women to make beautiful products and then give them to the world. So I think all this recognition, whether it is just to name a few, we were recently funded by a small grant by Facebook in partnership with a foundation in India called Nudge, and we were recognized as the Generation Equality Champions by UN Women as part of a global initiative, just because, all the work and the fact that we were still able to sustain the artisans during COVID. And plus, at the same time, I've tried to sort of ensure that what we're doing is featured and publicized in a lot of different magazines, whether it's trade, whether it's design. We won a few design awards as an artisan not-for-profit brand by, the India Design Pool magazine in India. And hopefully, over time, these beautiful designs are able to help us win more awards. So yeah, and I think the awards are just help us sort of, I would say, get that recognition and spread the word to different people across platforms, different cultures, different countries. And it's a good sort of, pat on the back as well, right? Because the artisans feel encouraged. It helps you motivate yourself. Like I said, I guess if you do good work, you will be recognized for it. And I think that's where it comes from.
And also the purpose of this episode, this postcard, we hope to give you visibility and even get to know to even a broader audience, because you are doing a wonderful job. I think the prizes is a proof that you are coupling, the quality, the design prize, the quality that you are doing with also, let us talk the UN Women Prize, the social aspect and empowerment. So you are doing a product that is of high quality on the product part and on high quality on the social part. So it's really incredible. In this path, in this work, which are the main problems that you faced?
I think in terms of challenges and problems, it has mostly been initially the societal barriers. Obviously we have a large group of artisans who work with us. So, we're trying to sort of, really get organized to have a large number of designers who are assigned to the artisans to work with. So sometimes it does become a challenge to get, designers who are in sync to work with artisans as well, right? So that's one. Second is, that there are a lot of craft and artisan-based organizations in India. So another challenge is, how do we sort of, continue to be unique and different and, stand out with what we're doing. So, you have to constantly innovate and come up with new ideas and designs. I have always believed that, you think of a product, people want to buy the product because they love it. Not because it was made by an artisan or it's made from sustainable materials. And I think that's, as an organization, we keep focusing and trying to sort of solve for over time. That's essentially what it is. And that's one of the biggest challenges. And, of course, marketing in the world of today is a challenge because, there's so many people out there and they have so many different choices, whether it is of platforms like Amazon, who is selling different kinds of artisanal products across the globe. So how do we make ourselves different and stand out? So that's a challenge. But I think, over time, we come up and identify gaps and keep getting better and better. My husband always says that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So we'll take our time and we'll get there.
That is wonderful. I want to ask, what do you want to leave for the audience? What to somebody that wants to start a social entrepreneurship, somebody who wants to make a difference for his community? Which is your message that you want to give?
I always, have just one message to share with anybody who wants to work in the impact space because, it is a tough space. It is very challenging. My grandfather has worked in the impact space for very long, and he used to tell me that, it's a thankless job sometimes because you're just giving, and that's the attitude you need to have. So I kind of realized very quickly that I do this because I'm doing it because I want to make a difference to my life and I want to change things that frustrate me. Right. And that's how I'm going to be able to create a difference to the life of others, because whatever doesn't frustrate me anymore. And if I'm happy and content with, the way I live and what is around me, the world will be a better place. So, and I think those actions have translated into me being the social entrepreneur that I am. So similarly, I think that would be the message that, first focus on making a difference to your life and then that of others. And automatically you will sort of find, what your passion or what your inspiration or your frustration is, and you will solve for it.
That is really inspiring. A great piece of advice, I might say, for everybody who wants to really to change their life. And I'm sure a lot of things that bother us, a lot of things that really disturb us, they are out there, and we really need to take a bold step to change. So thank you, Gauri. I think it was a wonderful episode, and you have given us a great story. In such a short span of time, you have done wonderful story. You have already transformed lives. You have already touched women directly, and the transformation that you are giving. I'm really humbled and impressed and happy to have the possibility to interview you.
Thank you so much, Samuel. I think it's been a pleasure. I love talking about what I do. So I take any and every opportunity to talk about it again and again and again. So yeah, it's been a real pleasure. And I will do what I plan to sort of achieve. Yeah, it's been great talking to you, and we should definitely do a session a year later to see, where we've come and what we've achieved.
So thank you so much, Gauri. We'll see even more women in Sirohi, and you never know, you become even a bigger, and you will be also in Africa and all over the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you so much. Are you better off after this wonderful episode? In the next one, we will see an innovative startups fighting fast furniture. Stay tuned.